Hi Pisces. Light. Some of you could have been experiencing tremendous amount of light within you. Physically, they're talking about solar flares that are coming closer to the Earth. So the Earth itself, the solar system itself, is shifting. There's an acceleration of awakening. And this Queen of Light here is talking about lucidity, illumination, celebration. Celebrating your unfoldment into the light that you are. There's a deepening that you perhaps are experiencing right now, where because of the challenges and the troubles you've been going through, or you are still going through, there has been an urgent need to give it all up, to surrender like you never surrendered before. When we're pushed to the limit, there's only one way we can get out, is to jump. And yesterday we saw this full energy, and that is definitely jumping off the cliff. But perhaps you're finding yourself scared or blocking yourself. But once you can no longer live with that, then there is such a relaxing into the moment, into the I can no longer go in the same way, that for 1 second perhaps you get out of your way. And that getting out of the way is what we call surrender. In that moment, the light that is always within you, but that was being blocked by yourself before, the contraction, the thinking, the never being here. In that very simple moment, there is and the light starts, you start feeling the light itself with no effort. It's very effortless. Coming up, up, up. Starting to go through your whole body and starting to vibrate. You could have perhaps had symptoms of, your eye beating, like nervous, or perhaps shaking a little bit, migraines. But as this light starts to arise within you, and it's not that it starts to arise, it was there all along. It's just that you start to be conscious, you start to embrace and be that light. Magic happens. Miracles happen because you're no longer here, to block the energy. It is energy. We are energy. We carry the energy of the universe. We are not separated from it. And so this spiritualized matter yesterday that we saw has to do with bringing that light, being that light. And this illumination is visceral, is physical. It's not, there's no separation between the spiritual and the physical. The spiritual is here, in the matter, in your body. Your body is matter. And so there is a tremendous clarity that comes through your mind. There is celebration because also when that light starts to shine through, that you feel it truly. You also start to feel the physical heart vibrate to such an extent that it takes all over you. And you start to feel that. You actually start to glow. Natural beauty is not the appearance. You're not doing anything. There's no makeup. It's that light. And it's that love. And so that light burns through all the blockages, all the tensions. It burns through all the emotions. The emotions are energetic blocks that are stuck. It's stuck energy. When we're too much in our mind, we block. We're just here. We stuck the energy from it to flow. And it's that simple, Pisces. You just stop. You just disappear. And that feels like creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Lemuria. This higher frequency, we talk about higher frequency just because you will feel it yourself. You have to experience it for yourself. Don't believe me. It's not information here. It's experiencing, realizing your light, who you are as a being, you listening to this. So there is this, whatever felt down, you start to actually feel the light go through here, your nose. You start to feel like your nose or your ears are clear. There's and you're not doing anything. It's just burning through all the passages, all the contractions, the physical elements. And you start to feel like there's energy that pulls you up. And you might, if you stay there long enough, and you might want to because you'll feel so good, that energy goes up to your chakras that are beyond the crown chakra, that relate you to the universe. And you start to feel the whole connection, that you are the one. You are one. And so, not to get lost there, remember that we are to live in this heaven and bring it to the earth. So we need to be here. Priestess came through. How are you being called to step up and lead? How are you being called to step up and lead? Step up and lead. What they were saying here is, underneath, trust your path. Trust came through strongly yesterday. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? If you knew you would be supported, meaning if the whole universe, all the people around you, and including especially you, was supporting you, saying, yeah, go for it, cheerleaders, a team, that's like, yeah, this is what you have to do, just go for it, what would you do? That dream of yours. And you will start to feel here that flow where nothing matters really. It's like it doesn't even feel like you're leading anything because it's natural. You start to feel naturally, to do things naturally. There's no set way of doing things. You just follow the flow. You follow the energy where it takes you. You feel your body, but you're letting it do naturally what it needs to do. You're back to your essential nature. You are aligned. And you don't attach. Once this happens, you don't attach to it because that's the ego that wants to come through again. The personality that wants to hold on to that experience. And that's the worst, right? When something works, we're like, I have to do it again. But no, you can't do it again because doing it again is holding on to it. It's blocking the energy again. So there is this letting it do and not going back to the mind, not going back to the emotional attachment to it. It's giving into the white, it's purely giving. The intention. He has an arrow here. The arrow is gone. You can't get it again. There is a detachment that happens from anything that occurs, that you do. You just settle in that light, right? So definitely we're seeing a heart awakening happening. And you're definitely talking to God, number 11 here. You are getting closer to God. And, it can start with the imagination as well. Sometimes when you feel down, it can help you if you just imagine the bigger space. We see the sky, the universe, sometimes the ocean, like nature can be helpful. There's no ego there. There's just what it is, and it's vast. There's a spaciousness that can inspire you. You can imagine, what would be more than yourself. And that starts to expand your mind. And also, when we say talk to God, it's that you're not thinking of, okay, with the script, what am I going to say to God? It's your heart talks to God. So this heart awakening, things just happen in synchronicities, in signs, by itself. Because remember, you're out of the way. Awaken to acceptance and divine love. You accept completely. Because in acceptance, you say yes. When we say yes, we let the flow of energy go through. We don't block it. No. A no is it blocks. It puts a wall. Here there's, I accept. I surrender. Give and receive in balance. So when it comes to love, we have generosity here. Yes, you're beautiful soul, Pisces, and you're so generous. But there is a balancing here happening, needing to happen. We have romantic love coming through as well. Number 2 has to do with cooperation, but also balance. The two needing to become one. And for that to happen, the two need to be in equilibrium. They need to be the same, right? Because if they're not the same, they cannot become the one. They have to be the same. So a lot of love here in your reading, in your spread today, Pisces. But again, remembering that balance. And it's funny because it's saying Lady Nada. Nada, it's probably just her name. I don't know her. But in Spanish, it would be nada means emptiness, means nothing. And I find it very interesting. It's calling here to me. In this nothingness that we talked about, that's when the heart awakens. And you will see that also a sense of presence, of confidence will come through. And that will help you give and receive in balance, because you won't go out of your way to please someone, because you're no longer in your ego trying to people please because you have traumatic experience from the past that, puts you into that frame of mind. You are balanced within yourself. Now you don't care about others because there's no others, because you're one. So the balance happens by itself. We have divine healing. Of course, this light is divine healing. Hilarion. Honor your sensitivity. Retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. So definitely this experience happens in solitude. We need to be with our own energy, especially if we're highly sensitives, empaths, all of that. There's here a need to have that solitude, that time alone. Yes, you need to balance that as well, especially, if you're in a relationship. It's not separating, you and the other. It's just balancing the relationship, the independence, the time alone, and the time together. Because every single human on this earth needs its independence, its space. So for a relationship to work, there needs to be space given. And so that means that we go beyond attachment. But when you become like this, whole, you don't have so much attachment. Naturally, you need that space. And it's given to you. I just wanted to note that also you could be feeling very hot. Sometimes when this happens, when the light comes through, don't freak out. It's just light. It's fire. It's this sexual energy that we have within us that is being rewired. That is also as well, this balance that needs to happen is if you're having physical contact. There needs to be a balance there too. Because remember that the sexual energy is a beautiful thing, and the sexual act is also extremely beautiful when it's an expression of love of the heart. But when it becomes too much of the sexual activity, the heart can be forgotten. As you know, we can have sex and not have emotions. I won't go into the personal, but yeah, it can happen. It's hard when you're actually emotional and sensitive, but it's natural, you know. We have the animal, the emotional in us, but we have the divine in us. So this balance again needs to happen, where there needs to be space given for the heart, only the heart, where in the relationship there is sharing, there is giving, there is embracing, without necessarily having to go to the orgasm thing, right? It's recharging your energies. You can do it with your partner also. There's tantra that exists in India, but without even going there, it's just a matter of recharging your own light. If you're always giving your light, you know, you will get depleted. So you have to honor your sensitivity. And again, when you're whole in that space, that will come naturally. Okay? Yeah, Pisces. And so here you have invest in your spirit. Definitely. It's time to invest in your spirit. This also came with say thank you. So perhaps there's someone, you know, that is going to give you flowers, or just you need to say some thank you to someone. Perhaps saying thank you to a loved one, perhaps that has taught you something. I don't know. Maybe there was a discussion that was a bit heated and you learned a lot about it. You know, you can say thank you. You know, thank you is also an open energy. Thank you for everything. You know, thank you for every single moment of this life, having this gratitude. And again, the challenges that come your way, remember that they are exactly what we need every time. Sometimes it's hard to see that when it's really hard and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But remember, the light is always here. We're just not aware of it. So it's just a matter of knowing that there's ups and downs. It's what life is all about. But if there was no down, we would not wake up in this way. Remember, like you didn't jump off the cliff by yourself. You know, you didn't want to jump. You were with fear, with attachment to things, perhaps emotions, and you didn't want to jump. But something pushed you. Something had to push you. And the pressure only comes from the challenge. Because when we're comfortable, why change? Why jump? Why would you jump? You know, you would have to be crazy. And again, what does crazy mean? What normal means? That's for another time. But see, so yeah, Pisces, the acceptance here is accepting everything that comes our way without judging it, just trusting that it's happening for a reason, trusting the divine, trusting. And that's a practice of every day, because it comes and goes, right? We need to remind ourselves sometimes there are very, very difficult situations, could come to just so much, you know, tragic circumstances that are not funny, not at all. But we need to be reminded of that light, because it's always here waiting for us to wake up to it, right? Wake up. You have rebirth here with the goddess of Isis, and she brings the Virgin Mary here. Miracles, Pisces. Nothing less than that. Know that you deserve miracles. Again, it's not an egoic thing. And when the miracles happen, don't get attached to it. And don't be like, no. Stay in that flow, that openness. You deserve it. We are here with Lord Shiva, transcendence. Rise up, right? Honor your inner force. Steps are being given. Dance with the universe. Okay. So I will finish here with this beautiful card from Rumi. That says, victory of Mariam is victory. If you're longing to caress the moon, do not turn away from it. So we could have a longing to wake up, but perhaps, you know, we don't want to be free. Being free is scary. Like jumping off that cliff. You're an eagle with wings, ready to soar. So I push you from the cliff top so that you may know yourself. See, we're being pushed to know ourselves, all the challenges that come our way is to know ourselves, to go deeper. Whatever may be troubling you is not meant to bring you trouble. Interesting, right? It's not meant to bring us trouble, but it's troubling us. So that thing itself is not the trouble. You are making it trouble. We are making it a trouble. Allow yourself to become eagle-eyed, beloved wild one, The attitude, rather than the circumstance, needs to shift. That's so critical. That's so important. When I read that, I was like, wow, this is it. The attitude, rather than the circumstance, needs to shift. So it's not external. Nothing external needs to change. Everything is perfect as it is. It's happening as it should be happening. But you are the one who needs to change internally. Then you shall find your resolution. Okay, Pisces. So I love you. I hope this was helpful. And I will see you in the next one. Please take care. Love you. Bye-bye.